Hello and welcome to Spotlight, a diary for the South East, brought to you by Round and About magazine. I'm Angela Walker with your guide to where to go and what to do in the South East of England. We've got some fantastic guests today. Joe Page spills the beans on the newly announced and much anticipated Gavin and Stacey Christmas special.
Everybody is really lovely. I mean, when we first started the job, it was clear that, that this was something different and that we all had great chemistry. And right from the very first series, we've all been so close and like a family.
And an unfortunate bird poo incident at the Wildlife Aid Foundation in Leatherhead.
Oh my God, yes, when the bird actually pooed on my face. And I turned to the camera and I just went, I've got poo on my face.
It's fast, it's furious, and it's coming soon.
We've been waiting for the start of the 100th. Bang!
If you like food and music, you must stay with us for this. You could win a stay for two at a beautiful Berkshire hotel right on the River Thames. And here at Spotlight, we love to hear what you've been up to in the South East. Send us your pictures and films and you could feature on our next podcast. You can find us on Facebook, we're on Instagram at Round and About Mag, and we're on X. Drop us a line and you could be in our next video podcast. Coming up, I'll be joined by Liz Nicholls, who'll be walking us through the region's top events. And joining me in the studio is Michelin star chef Atul Kochhar, and he's bringing a savoury sensation for me to sample, and he'll be sharing the recipe so you can have a go too. But first, the Swan at Streatley is a converted 17th century inn on the River Thames in the Chiltern Hills. You can enjoy a drink on the terrace as the river flows right by you. And if you'd like to win a stay at the Swan, stay with us. I'll let you know how later in the programme. But right now, whatever you're doing, just take a second to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss out on any of our great competitions. And if you are enjoying Spotlight, share it with your friends and family. Now though, it's time for Liz Nicholls from Round and About magazine to talk us through the very best events in the region this summer. Liz, so many events, so little time. What have you got in store for us?
So much. I mean, if this year's anything to go by, this summer's just going to race by. So I'm keen to grab every drop from August. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some lidos where we can cool off or warm up, depending on what time of day. And then some sport, the 100, Silverstone, the racing, paddle, which is the hot new sport, and then a couple of things to do, including festivals on the August bank holiday to make the most of it.
Amazing. And we have had a few hot days, so let's start with lidos. Where can we go in the region to cool off?
There's one in Wickham, High Wycombe, Wycombe Rye Lido, which has been refurbished. It's heated, so you can go for a dip outdoors. And then Thames Lido, you can have a swim and a tapas. That's open until the end of September. Northcroft in Newbury is very nice as well if you've got your slides and your water fun. Same with Aldershot, that's another really good one to try.
Perfect, we're spot for choice when it comes to lidos, aren't we?
Yeah.
So talk to me, Liz, about the Labyrinth Challenge, because this is an event that looks like so much fun. Tell us about it.
Yeah, sure. So it's the UK's largest obstacle course, inflatable obstacle course. It's 1,000 foot long. And Leonardsley near Horsham in West Sussex is gorgeous to visit at the best of times. I mean, you've got trees, you've got lakes, you've got picnic spots. So between the 8th and the 11th of August, you can throw yourself at this obstacle course and see if you come out the other end.
Well, it looks like basically a huge bouncy castle
Yeah.
that grown-ups have got permission to go on, because I love bouncy castle, but my toddler doesn't need me on there anymore, so I'd love a chance to go on like a real life-size one.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
absolutely
whopping.
huge. Big Festival, talk to me about this, because this looks amazing.
Yeah, we love Big Festival. Lovely set up obviously by the Blur bassist Alex James in Kingham on his cheese farm, dairy farm. So it's another cracking lineup with Becky Hill, Kat Burns, and then the chefs, Fit Waffle, who we've got some great recipes from. She's the social media star, Raymond Blanc, and then you've got Cherish Finden. And of course the mighty Mr. Tumble, Justin Fletcher, will be there. He's an institution. And the Cuban brothers always go down well. So there's loads that you can do. You can stuff your face, you can go with kids, without kids, and you can really, yeah.
And what if you're not a big fan of camping? Because I think my camping days are past now.
Yeah, mine are gone. So you can go for boutique camping, and you can have a yurt, normal cons. You can take your camper van if you've got yourself one of those. That's my next plan. Or you can do what I do, and you can go hard and then go home. Just organise your transport, go large, you know, hit the bars and then leave.
Perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. Lovely combination of food and music. 'Cause it looks like a mini Glastonbury, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's really lovely.
Maybe easier to get tickets to than Glasgow.
Yeah, you've got a chance still.
And more food, more food. Foodies Festival's been touring, and that's coming
Yeah.
to the southeast. Tell us about that. Where's it coming to, and what's in store?
So it'll be in Oxford South Parks over the August Bank Holiday weekend, and then it's at Stoke Park in Guildford the following weekend, so 31st and then the 1st of September. And it's not only food, there's loads for kids to do. There's baking for kids, there's chef's areas and you know, inspirational things. But you've got Sister Sledge and Blue. Sister
Legend.
Sledge are amazing. I saw them at Blenheim Palace. They're just fabulous. And then there's also a food festival in Great Missenden over the August Bank Holiday weekend with Rosemary Schrager and lots of other fun for kids.
Brilliant. And I love these kind of events because they're really hands-on, aren't they? They've got like baking theatre, kids cookery and stuff like that, because kids get a bit bored if it's just the eating. I think if they get to take part, they love that, don't they?
Yeah.
Perfect. Sport now, and the 100 is really big this year. I don't know a lot about cricket.
I don't like cricket.
How does it... What's different about the 100?
Right, okay, so I came at this a little bit sceptical, and I've lost a whole summer to cricket before because I had an ex who was big into it. However, the 100 is quick, it's only 100 balls, it's, you know, you're in and out at 2.5 hours, the crowd get dressed up, it's televised, so you could be on telly. The men's and the women's prizes are equal, it's in 7 cities across the UK. So the Oval in London and also Lords and Southampton.
Yeah, it's
And
so different, isn't it, from the
Yeah.
kind of quintessential sitting around with cucumber sandwiches, you know, losing a whole weekend
Whole
to
summer.
cricket.
Yeah.
This is fast and exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Side man out there. Oh, brilliant stop. Brilliant stop. Bowled. He goes back. It's 6. It's a magnificent 100.
Really good fun. People who, you know, it's doing what it was intended to get people who are a bit time poor but sport mad, and you know, you can get behind people really quickly. Yeah.
Looks like great fun and good for spectators, actually, I think, because it is so fast moving. Sticking with sport, and what's going on at Silverstone?
Yeah, so Silverstone's another great one actually for the kids.
Silverstone 87.7. The festival track action, of course, beginning at 9 o'clock this morning. But looking out of the studio window, the car clubs are already pouring into the centre.
So kids go free. You've got music as well from the likes of Sophie Ellis-Bextor over the August Bank Holiday weekend. And sports-wise, it's the first chance in a long time that we're going to get 3 Brits on the podium. So Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris and George Russell, all contenders. So, you know, in Toaster.
And it's so exciting watching
Yeah.
those cars whizzing around, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I think it's great for families because of all the extra activities going on at Silverstone. So, and anything where the kids can go free,
Yeah.
has got a thumbs up from me. Paddle. Now, talk to me about paddle. So it's like a racket game. It's a bit like tennis, but it's turning into a bit of a craze, isn't it?
Yeah, they say it's the fastest growing sport. So it's Mexican originally.
Okay.
And if you want to join, so Antonio Banderas is a big advocate of paddle.
Well, if it's good enough for Antonio Banderas.
That's what I thought. And Shakira. And then, you know, Lionel Messi, Rafael Nadal, Cristiano Ronaldo, Serena Williams. It's more sociable than tennis. You can get involved. It's a bit more all abilities, and because you're a bit closer together and there's 4 of you.
And the rackets, they look bigger than a normal tennis racket with a kind of like shorter handle.
And they're shorter, yeah.
So for someone like me who can't hit a ball, it looks like a really good
can give it a bash,
introduction to
yeah.
tennis. So how can people find out where paddle's taking place near them?
So the LTA has quite a good guide, and then we're going to put a good old guide on roundabout.co.uk so that people can give it a try, because August is just going to go, so it's nice to do something different.
And it's a smaller court, isn't it?
Smaller court and enclosed, so yeah,
it does
the 4
look-
of you in there.
Does look really, really fun, actually. I might give
Yeah.
that a go, actually. And let's move on to art. David Hockney has got a fantastic exhibition. Tell us about this, because it just looks great.
Yeah, this is a fantastic one. It's at the Light Room in King's Cross, where the old cross used to be, where we used to go clubbing, or I did. And it's massively immersive, so it's audio visual, you've got the sound. David Hockney, who's in his 80s now, is one of our biggest pop art icons, living artists. And he has a condition called synesthesia, so his senses are mixed up. So it's all about the sound and the light and the scale. And it's just a fantastic day out. We've got some tickets to give away to people who want to try it, who want to go along. And then King's Cross is a great day out anyway. They've got a free open air cinema there until the 18th of August, so you can sit on the canal side and watch a film, make a real day of it.
Wow, it just looks so mesmerising. Let's have a quick look at that.
I have to paint. I've always wanted to paint. I've always wanted to make pictures from when I was tiny. That's my job, I think, making pictures. And I've gone on doing it for 60 years.
Dizzee Rascal's coming to Newbury Racecourse in Kempston Park.
He is. He's coming. He's doing his. So they had the gala last month, and actually he's performing. And you can put a bet on the horses. You can enjoy the races, and then he's headlining. It's going to be fantastic.
Quite the mix. Quite the mix.
Yeah.
And you caught up with him earlier, didn't you?
I did. I was a bit starstruck. I had a good chat to him. Yeah.
What's on your set list? Do you have a set list, and what's it likely to be?
All bangers. that's it. It's all bangers, man. Ebbs and flows, but it was pure slappers. The classics, well, all the classics. Some old, some new, some maybe a few exclusives. But high energy, so it's mainly high energy. Yeah, it's a good.
It's going to be high energy.
Yeah, and that's what I'm on.
He's also at Northampton on the 9th of August. There's quite a few chances to get tickets and see him. Yeah, he's got lots of new music out. It's been making me laugh on social media.
Brilliant. Well, he seems like such a chilled out guy, Liz.
Yeah, very chilled out.
Super chilled, super chilled. So that's Dizzee Rascal at the Newbury Racecourse and Kempston Park Racecourse. And Hotel and Spa Wedding Fair is coming to Danesfield House Hotel.
Yeah, if you're looking for somewhere for your wedding, then there's a wedding fair coming up. It's actually on the 15th of September. And Danesfield House is always worth a visit. It's got a lovely spa. And yeah, you can explore the grounds, the history there and everything. Just make a day of it, yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Liz. And of course, there's more information on all of those activities on our website, roundandabout.co.uk. Now, if you're a Gavin and Stacey fan like me, you'll be thrilled to hear there's going to be a Christmas special this year. Liz caught up with Stacey herself, Jo Page, to ask about the long-awaited special and to ask the question on everyone's lips, what does the future hold for Smithy and Ness?
First of all, how long have you been sitting on this news, which is now being out there and celebrated?
Oh well, we've heard, we sort of had inklings for a little bit, but to be honest with you, it was kind of, we still haven't seen a script or anything, which is really funny because I mean, it's just so funny signing up to something, and you have not read the script, so I've absolutely no idea what's happening to me in it. But the sort of, they put little little things like, would you fancy doing it a small bit out, before, but mostly we've only really signed up, just before the news came out. So I haven't had to keep a massive secret or anything for too long. So that's all right.
That makes it easier for you, doesn't it? Really?
Yes.
I mean, everyone wants to know what's going to happen with Nesta and Smithy, don't they?
I know. Yes.
In your world, where do you think they're at? What's going to,
Oh gosh,
but
Oh, I've no idea. I mean, I've been thinking about, I wonder, what they're going to do. But I honestly don't have a clue. I genuinely don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be something great, but I don't know. I've just got absolutely no idea. And I'm not going to say, what I think or anything, because I don't want to. I think I just want to leave it completely with people can just sort of, just wait and see. I'm not going to let anybody, I'm not going to tell anybody that I know. I've already, my husband, I said to him, I'm not going to tell you anything that happens in it. And he said, just please don't, because I just don't want the pressure of, not telling anybody. So I don't know. I don't have a clue. I'm just really excited to find out myself, same as everybody else, because they don't tell us anything and we've not seen the scripts yet. So I'm just the same as everybody else. I just can't wait, to see what's happened to all of us.
Yeah, oh, it's going to be fantastic. And I'd like to know if you're pals with it, because it's such a fabulous, camaraderie on set, it looks like, anyway. Are you pals especially want to ask about Rob Brydon, if like what's he like on set and stuff. Are you
Oh, well, everybody is really lovely. I mean, when we first started the job, it was clear that, that this was something different and that we all had great chemistry. And right from the very first series, we've all been so close and like a family. And then when we were filming the last special, I just remember when Alison, had her last day on set. And we all just kind of bowed our heads when you go, and that's a wrap for Alison. We all just kind of bowed our heads and started crying. And it's just such a lovely feeling. And it's, we go for absolutely ages and not see each other. And we've got this little WhatsApp group and we pop messages on every now and then. But then when we all meet up with everybody, it's just, it's like family. You don't see each other for ages and then you meet up with each other and it's just exactly the same as it was before. And I mean, the last special was such an utter joy to film. It was just like such a lovely reunion. So yeah, I'd say that we're all really close and we're all big pals and I love them all dearly. So I just can't wait, to start filming and see everybody again. Rob Brydon is so funny. He's always doing stuff just to make you laugh. He's doing constant voices, constantly doing impressions. He's either being Hugh Grant or Al Pacino, trying to make you giggle. I mean, it is an utter joy. It's like not doing a job. And the lines are normally so funny anyway. And the stuff that Uncle Bryn does is so funny that, it's hard not to giggle anyway. But then when you've got an extra layer of him on top of all of that, trying to make you laugh as well, oh my God, it's so difficult. And I'm just constantly laughing. And I'd sort of forgotten what the show was like because I've only ever watched it once. And my daughter is now 11. And so she's asked if she can watch it. So we've done the whole of the first series now together. And it's really funny. And I've forgotten how much it made me laugh. So yeah, it's an utter joy. I mean, it's really good fun. And I feel, like Larry is like my father-in-law and Alison's like my mother-in-law. I just love them all so much. And, I just think that it is like a family.
Can I ask you about Love Actually, Joe? Because you
Yes.
had a mini part in that, and also Martin
Yeah.
Freeman did as well. I don't know if
Yes.
you're pals now.
Oh, he's lovely, but I haven't seen Martin for years. I think last time I saw Martin, I was pregnant, I think, with Eva, and I was standing in the middle of London talking on my phone, and suddenly Martin walked past, and we both sort of waved at each other, and I was on the phone, and I think he motioned to my pregnant stomach, and I gave him a thumbs up. So that's the last time I saw Martin.
How do
But
you
yeah,
feel about the film? Because it's a real Christmassy special, isn't it? Really?
oh my God, it's mad because I've only ever seen it once, and that was at the Cardiff Film Festival. And oh my God, I was sitting next to my parents. I had to introduce it. I'd not seen it before because I couldn't make the premiere. And I remember just sitting in this cinema with a load of people and my parents having to watch it and just being mortified. I was like, oh my God. But now, as I've grown older, I never used to be able to watch myself in stuff. But now as I've grown older, I think, oh my gosh, that's so lovely. And the kids haven't seen it and they're asking, they keep wanting to see it and they keep asking about Love Actually, but they haven't seen it yet. But I saw a bit of it so I've only ever seen it once. And then it was last Christmas. I was flicking the TV and it was on and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to leave it on and see if I'm in it. And then a bit came on and it was so lovely. I didn't see myself in it. I saw, it was just like somebody else's storyline. But oh my God, it's so Christmassy and it's so lovely. And now I can see why people love watching it every year. And my parents say that it's not Christmas until they've seen Love Actually. And I think as I get older, I'll be able to get over the fact that I'm like stark bollock naked in it. And I think I'll just be like, oh my God, it's just such a sweet, lovely film. So eventually, I think it probably will be one of our classics that we watch every Christmas. And I mean, Bo is now nearly 2.5 and I'm still breastfeeding her. So my boobs are sort of a wonderful, joyous thing in the house. And we all walk around, the boys are constantly running around naked. And so me, being naked in Love Actually, I don't even think would be a big thing. I think they just think it was absolutely hilarious. So I think I'll probably give it a couple of years. I mean, mind you, I'm thinking about actually the fact, though, that I am jumping up and down on Martin Freeman. So I don't think they'll probably be able to see that for a bit because I think they'll be mortified. But I think eventually it's probably going to be a joyous thing that we all watch every Christmas. But yeah, I'm just so proud that I was in it. It was such a fab experience. And I mean, my God, to think that I was, about 23 filming that, it was utterly terrifying. And I just remember the read through, the whole of the cast were there. And I just remember sitting there going, oh my God, there's Alan Rickman, there's Emma Thompson. Oh my God, it's Hugh Grant. I can't believe it's Liam Neeson. And it was just absolutely mad and exciting. I've started working with, it's called the Wildlife Aid Foundation, and it's a hospital in Leatherhead, Surrey. And I am literally in the middle of filming with them. So I'm doing a
Is that
show
where you've
for the
got the bird flu on
BBC.
your face?
Oh my God, yes. When the bird actually pooed at my face. And I turned to the camera and I just went, I've got poo on my face. Just mad there.
And you
But
couldn't
they're,
lick it off, or you had to like.
I couldn't because I wiped it off, but we carried on filming. And then it was so hot in there because they have to keep it warm because they've got incubators and things like that. And so my mouth was getting so dry and my lips were getting dry. But all I could think of was, I can't lick my lips because I think I've got poo on them.
Glamorous.
But yeah, so I'm working with them. I'm filming a show at the moment where I'm training to be a wildlife care assistant. But they're absolutely fab and they do so much good, for it's all for the wildlife and it's a hospital for them. And they're trying to raise money for their new site, which they're going to hopefully, move into and build. But yeah, that's what I'm working on at the moment. So I'm working 3 days a week and oh my gosh, I'm dealing with badgers and foxes, bats, or loads and loads of birds, and I'm having a whale of a time. But I'm sort of leaving the jungle of my own house to, go into this other jungle full of other animals. And I'm cleaning up poo and cleaning out cages and hutches. And then I come back home and then I'm basically changing nappies. So I have a life which is just sort of manual work and just cleaning up poo with animals and children. So yeah, I'm just working on that at the moment. It's going to be out in 2025.
And you can read more about Jo's new wildlife series based at the Wildlife Aid Foundation in Leatherhead, Surrey, on the Round and About website, roundandabout.co.uk. And you can watch the full-length version of Liz's interview with Jo on our YouTube channel, or you can listen to the interview on Spotlight, a diary for the South East, wherever you get your podcasts. Now, each show I'm joined in the studio by one of the country's top chefs. My guest today is the twice Michelin star chef from Jamshedpur in India, who's changed the way we perceive Indian cooking. He's got several restaurants in our region, including Sindhu in Marlow, Hawkins in Amersham in Buckinghamshire, and Indian Essence in Petswood, Kent. It is, of course, Atul Kochhar. Atul, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
You've brought some food and it smells fantastic. We're going to have a taste of that in a minute.
Absolutely.
But first of all, what is it that makes your style of Indian cooking different?
Indian cuisine is actually a misnomer. So cuisines of India is a better word, because the way we see European cuisine, I think India should be seen in that magnum. And every region has its own speciality. And my family was from North India. I grew up in East India and studied in South India. So I picked up different flavors from different parts of the country. Then I came here, and one of the biggest moral responsibility as a chef is to use the local produce. And that's what I've been doing since I've been here. And I think my adamant character that whatever we do, we'll use all the produce from here and nowhere else, I think puts us slightly apart. Maybe we were a little ahead of time, and when we were doing a roasted broccoli, for example, or putting scallops on the menu, or hare or venison, people were looking at us, why are you doing this? In India, people don't eat that way. We said, well, we are cooking Indian food in the UK. People here eat that. So if we remain true to our ethos and our tradition of using spices, you can use any ingredients. And I think that's what has set us apart.
It's kind of like a fusion, would you say, of kind of Indian and British food. Is that how you describe it, do you think?
I would say that, yes. So one of my beautiful food memories from late 90s and early 20s, I remember going to New York and eating in one of the fantastic Italian restaurant. An Italian mama was cooking, and it was a family-run restaurant. And after licking my plate, I told them, I said, this is the best Italian food I've had. So she came right charging on my table. She said, son, it's not Italian. It's called New York Italian. So I thought, yeah, I found a term for my food. It's British Indian. That's what we are.
It is. And I think what's really nice about your food, because I've eaten in your restaurant several times, it's so flavoursome, but it's not really, really hot. And I've taken my daughter there, and you had these tiny little poppadoms, and she's only 5. And the waiter came round and said, is there anything that you would like? Sort of addressed the table, and my little 5-year-old put her hand up and said, hello, can we have some more of your tiny poppadoms, please?
That's so sweet.
But it was really good because the food was so tasty that even a child could enjoy it. We didn't have to worry it'd be too spicy for her. Is that something that you think about, that you want your food to be accessible by everybody?
In if you look at most of Indian homes, food is never spicy. Spices are used, but for flavors. It's nothing that'll blow your brains off. I think that's a very British thing, that we have adapted to chilies and kind of added that this belongs to Indian food. It's not true. To be honest, Indian food didn't get the taste of chilies, or Indian cuisine did get taste of chilies until Portuguese came along. Before that, we only used black pepper.
That's fascinating. I did not know that.
Yeah, so it came from South America.
Now, you brought some food today and I can't wait to taste it. And I feel privileged because you have cooked for the king and now you've cooked for me. So what an honour. What was it like? Because you were cooking, he was Prince Charles at the time at St James's Palace when you cooked for him. How did that come about, and what was it like to cook for royalty?
So, we were invited. So Prince Charles was, or King Charles still is, was patron of British Asian Trust and Princess Trust, and I worked with both the trusts. And then they wanted, for one of the dinners, I think it was a very closed door dinner, and I think there were only 30-40 people who would support the charity, and they wanted Indian. So I was called upon for my services, and I went to a personal part of his quarters to cook that. And I had no idea that His Majesty will show up in the kitchen to say hello. And I was cooking and I heard somebody said chef, and I said, in a minute. And I turned around, it was him, and I just turned white. I said, I'm so sorry, Your Majesty. Your Highness. He said, don't worry, you were in the middle of your work. Good to see you.
Yeah.
So, very, very sweet person, and he's always made us feel comfortable around him. Obviously, your wall is, your back is against the wall when you see someone like of his stature. But he's very sweet and nice person. So we cooked food for him, and he wanted very simple food. So I remember cooking basic lamb chops for him, and he really enjoyed it.
And did you at any point think, when you were standing in that kitchen, I'm cooking for Prince Charles, I'm in the palace?
Yeah, I kept pinching myself. I had no idea that I could come to get to do these things. It was a big honor, to be honest, and I have continued to be with the charity and cook for them. So British Asian Trust is something close to my heart, which raises money for lots of people in Southeast Asia. And bigger than that is Princess Trust, who always supports young people in this country. So both charities are very close to my heart, and I continue to support them.
And we'll talk about your charity work a bit more in a minute, but you met the Queen as well, our late Queen Elizabeth.
I did, several times. So I was invited to the palace when the President of India was visiting, and they wanted an Indian affair again. So I had opportunity to cook with the chefs there, and then a few other Indian chefs were also there with me. And it was a great opportunity to meet Her Majesty. She was always, I looked up to her like anything, for everything. Inspiration, life, her aura. I've never met anybody as majestic as her in my life. So I'm hugely drawn to her life and the work she has put for our country.
I think she'll always epitomise royalty for us, won't she?
Yeah, absolutely.
Our Queen. So tell us, what dish have you brought here today? Food fit for a Queen, hopefully.
It is. For today, definitely.
It smells amazing. Everyone in the studio is really, really hungry now.
So going back to what we think of British Indian food, so I quite quickly realised after coming to this country that how much Brits love their chicken tikka masala, and they love their pies. So what a shame if you don't make a chicken tikka masala pie.
Marriage made in heaven.
Absolutely. So I landed up making that. Sadly, I forgot the chutney that goes with that. So we use whatever berries are in season. We just cook them with a little pinch of salt and toasted cumin. No sugar added, because berries have sugar of their own.
And what are these seeds on top?
So they're fennel, onion, which we call nigella seeds, and also some cumin.
Beautiful. That looks absolutely
Shall
stunning.
I get you some?
Oh, bring it over. Yeah, let's have a try. Wow, that looks delicious. Let's try this bit here.
Yeah, go for it.
That's so flavoursome.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. You can taste all the different spices. Delicious.
Glad you like it. And then
I should definitely finish that off in a minute.
Absolutely.
And what have we got here?
And we got lamb sheikh kebab, which we always excel in making beautiful kebabs on the open fire. And then chicken tikka, which has been marinated in lime leaf. So it's a lime flavored chicken tikka. And sheikh kebab, I love making sheikh kebab during spring and summer because you have real lamb that time.
Lovely.
And I love it. And as we reach into autumn, I always change my recipe and the menu, and it always says mutton sheikh kebab because I like using mutton during that time of the year. And it's very rich meat. You have to cook slightly longer, you have to treat it slightly differently, but lamb is not available actually.
Yeah, and we don't really talk about cooking with mutton, do we? It's not something that you hear about, really.
Whereas mutton is a classic thing for Brits, to be honest, and we should be using more and more mutton in my opinion.
You touched on your charity work, and it's clearly really important to you. Is that something that you set out to do, to get involved with all these charitable organisations?
I've always been passionate about young people, and even when I was younger, I always wanted to help more and more people. It's been part of my upbringing, and my parents brought me up saying that we only have one life, and more people you can pull up to live better, we would have achieved more meaning to our own lives. So my siblings are exactly like me. They also do the same thing. So I think it's the upbringing I've had, and I come from a family which had very little growing up, but we were still very happy sharing whatever we had. And God has been great and giving you more, why not share it? So that's the ethos I have, and I give that to my children as well.
That's such a lovely attitude. And now when you're not cooking in the kitchen and you want to treat yourself and eat out, where do you go? Where are your favourite restaurants?
So I might sound posh now, but some of my favourite restaurants have sadly been closing. So one of the biggest, it was like, let's call it, it was like Vatican for me for cuisine. It was La Gavroche, and sadly it just closed down recently. The other restaurant which I absolutely adored was belongs to a friend of mine, Marcus Waring's restaurant, Marcus. That also closed down. Now, third restaurant which I absolutely love, and sadly he's also closing down now, it's Pollen Street Social. But luckily he has got more restaurants. I can go to his little social, which is just bang opposite to Pollen Street Social. But knowing all these chefs, they will be up to something, and they will come back with something amazing which will be right for the market. Life around us is changing very fast, especially in the hospitality. We are struggling in a big way, from bills to staffing to produce that comes over from continent. The costs have gone up. The way we could eat out in late teens, I would say, or even 2005 to 2010, life around that time was really good. Everybody could afford lots of things. At the moment, we have very little money left.
Yeah, we're in a cost of living crisis, and people are having to tighten their belts, and I guess that's one of the things, is that people are not able to eat out as much as they used to.
Yeah, hospitality's head is always on the chopping block. It gets cut off because we are experiential business. But having said that, I still have faith that we will turn around and things will be okay. At the moment, we all are bleeding. We all know we are surviving, trying to keep head above water. But faith is the one that keeps you going, and I have complete faith that we will turn this around. We will be good again.
We will.
Definitely.
And so, have you got any exciting plans upcoming in the near future?
My mind is always bubbling with ideas. So I lost my mum last year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But she was very happy. 90-year-old. She didn't want us to mourn. She said, I've had a really great life. Her food was amazing. So I grew up on her food and my dad's food, like any child would. But my family was a little bit different. My grandfather was a baker, and my mum also learned the craft of baking, though she was a teacher, but she was a great baker. My dad had a catering business, so I learned a lot at home. So I want to write a book in the coming years with a great homage to all three of them. So it'll take a good 3-4 years for me to compile that book, and I want to start soon.
And I bet that book will be fascinating, and I'd love to read about this food legacy, really, that you're carrying on. So
thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Just wonderful talking to you and tasting your beautiful food. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you can find the recipe to Atul's amazing dishes on the Roundandabout website, roundandabout.co.uk. Now though, it's competition time. How about spending a night in a beautiful 17th century inn on the banks of the River Thames? The Swan at Streatley, it's the perfect place for a break in the Chiltern Hills. You can win one night at the Swan on this peaceful stretch of the river with relaxing countryside views. So why not make the most of it by taking a stroll along the river, or even hiring a boat? To enter the competition, all you have to do is go onto our website roundandabout.co.uk. Terms and conditions apply, and there are a number of great competitions on that website. Now, we love to hear what you've been up to, and you've been having some amazing days out from the looks of it. Ellie Cox joins us in the studio now to talk us through some of the highlights of what you've been up to across the southeast. Hi Ellie.
Hi. So people have been quite busy in the month of June. So first we have Vicky from Didcot. She went to Aber Voyage. So that's actually in London in the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park. So it's a virtual concert, 90 minutes, all computer generated, but people seem to love it and think, that ABBA are actually there with them.
It's supposed to be quite a spectacle, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. I think people absolutely love it. And then we had Ben from Henley last weekend, went to the Stoke Row Village Fair in Oxfordshire. I think that was like a good family day out. They had lots of little arcade rides and all sorts going on there. Sam from Oxford tried the 6 by Nico restaurant. So each month they sort of have a different theme. So last month it was all about the chippy, so basically posh fish and chips. They had like a deep fried Mars bar, but obviously an elevated version. And then this month of July, so they've got the Amalfi Coast sort of theme, so all Italian themed, 6 little courses that you can also pair with like the wine as well.
Lovely.
And then we had Lauren from Wallingford. She went to the little beach area by the river. So I think that's just along by the boathouse in Wallingford. They've recently opened and done a massive refurb, so that's also great. And took her child along there and her little dog as well.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Sounds like a nice day out, messing around by the river.
I know, especially on the warm sunny days that we've been having.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ellie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, don't forget to get in touch. We love to see pictures of what you've been up to, and you can find us on Instagram. We are Round and About Mag, and you could feature in our next video podcast. That's all we've got time for today. We'll have more dazzling guests, plus more chances to win great prizes in the next episode of Spotlight. Meanwhile, check out our website roundandabout.co.uk for more events around the region and more chances to win. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Check out our YouTube channel, Round and About Magazine. Until next time, it's goodbye from me and all my guests.